Hey everyone, it's Marcus, and I'm chatting in Bali at the moment and going all the way over to Germany where I'm speaking to Chris Harms. Of course, Chris Harms is from Lord of the Lost. Chris, hey, how are you?
I'm fine, and I was just wondering about like where you are because it doesn't look like Australia. It doesn't look
Well,
it looks so summerly because actually I've it's supposed to be winter down there, right?
I know exactly. So South Australia is where I'm from, but I've escaped the Adelaide winter, and headed
All
over
right,
to
okay.
Bali, Indonesia, where it's a lot more warmer, very tropical. My hair has been attacked by the humidity, so it's like everything's big and better.
But it
Um,
looks great. I'm super envious of your hair. It looks so good. Maybe
you're a good
maybe I
man.
should maybe I should open mine as
Yeah,
well with
bring it
like
out, bring it out. Yeah, there we go. I love it. And seriously, those tats are incredible. The storytelling of your tattoos, amazing, I'm sure.
yeah, I use my body a little like emotional diary, so to say. It's not
Yes.
everything that goes in there, but there's certain things that just happen. Like a little, like the seamen back then, when they went to different harbors and whatever and got their
Yeah.
memory. So for instance, this one here, this 666, the number of the beast, there was like to remind me of the two tours we did with Iron Maiden, and so it's a little
Wow.
bits and pieces everywhere. So most of them only I understand, and no one else has to. It's just for me. But yeah, thanks.
You know what, though, Chris, don't you think? I mean, we've got so much to discuss, of course, but don't you think that creating art should be something really, really personal to you? And people can interpret it how they want, whether that be music, whether it be your tattoos, whatever it is, any creative, energy that is put out into the world should come from the heart and soul of that human being creating it.
Yeah, and actually, that's one thing that what I really like about art and about writing lyrics. I'd love to write lyrics which are not too obvious, so you always can find your own interpretation.
Yeah.
Actually, each interpretation is right. So, and I do the same with other artists. Maybe I feel comforted by a song, and some other is getting angry or happy or whatever. So many different feelings. Now, I don't want to some things I don't even want to explain. Sometimes I tend to explain lyrics way later when the album's already out to give
Yeah.
people the space to actually come up with their own fantasies around it. I think
Yeah.
it's much more important.
Oh, I totally agree. Now, one of the fun things we're talking about today is obviously the launch of the new album, which is called Opus Noir Volume 1. 11
Yeah,
incredible tracks. My
thank
top
you.
two tracks, I'm going to tell you right now, are Bizarre Bizarre and I Will Die in It. Um,
Mhm.
Absolute incredible songs. Have you got any personal favorites from the album?
Oh, it's for me, it's always so hard to say. But before I go into that, what I love so much about the song title "Bizarre Bizarre" is like it depends on which accent someone is speaking, because everybody kind of has an accent. There's no accent-free English somehow, but in most accents, both words are pronounced the same.
Yeah.
And you look at the title, you're like bizarre, bizarre. Like, is it the bizarre or the bizarre, which comes first? And the song started with just the title because I just liked it. It
Yeah.
sounded so much fun. It was like making me creative just by having a song title. But about favorites, this changes every day. But since yesterday, we just shot some sequences for "Light Can Only Shine in the Darkness," which is a song with Temptation, and this is stuck in my head so far, and maybe that's my favorite today.
Yeah, I like it. And incredible. Enjoy it. So, Chris, obviously you're taking this show on the road. You're doing a massive tour. You're doing America, you're doing Europe, you're doing everywhere. Excitedly, though, you are coming to Australia. You're doing Brisbane, you're doing Melbourne, you're doing Sydney, and you are coming to Adelaide, which is
Yeah.
where I will be by the time
Yeah.
that the show's on the road. I will leave Adelaide and I'll leave Bali and I'm going to come back to Adelaide just for this, for you. In February 2026. Are you excited to do this massive tour, which is going to be huge?
Yeah, I'm actually very excited and kind of hopeful that this time it will actually work out with Australia because we tried to come this year or last year, I don't remember. And it was like the typical thing that every artist needs in their rock and roll biography later. So you have a tour on, and then the promoter runs off with the money, and people are being fucked. And it's like I'm still really sorry about so many people buying tickets with money which they never got back or may never get back in the future. But it was a typical kind of thing. So you work with some shady promoter you don't really know because you come from the other side of the world, and no matter how good your booking agency and your agent and everybody you work together is, these things can happen if you try to organize something in China, Australia, Japan, wherever, when you're like in the middle of Europe. And this time, so we did a little more researching and checking with people who like with whom to work, and we came up with, I think it's Hardline, who
Yeah.
have like great roster of bands and are very trustworthy and do great tours. And so I think this time everybody can be secure buying tickets or meet and greets, whatever. And yeah, really looking forward.
Um,
Never been to Australia, even like privately, never been there. My best friend from school moved to Australia after school, and I'm super happy to actually be able to see him again.
Oh, yay. Awesome. And yeah, again, like I said, I'm so grateful that you're coming to Adelaide because Adelaide are going to lap you up. They're going to love you.
Yes.
So, obviously, when you get to Australia, your first time ever, what have you heard about Australia? What are you looking forward to doing? If you got any downtime in between the shows, what are you excited about?
The thing is, of course, what you hear is like all you can get poisoned by the tiniest animals and all these kind of things. Some things maybe we just have to get used to because it's not like that here in Germany. But you never know how much of that is like, yellow press and scandals, whatever, how much is true of it is true. So I think actually you should get a little if we will have an Australian tour guide, and I think these people will tell us what to be afraid of and what not. And I know some kind of things. I know one address, like 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, from Finding Nemo.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna look it up if it actually exists. And yeah, these kind of things. But I have some friends over there, a colleague that moved over there like 15 years ago, and as I said, my best friend from school, which was amazing because like after school we went scuba diving in Malta and in Europe, and on this. And we were there for 3 weeks and school was over. We were like, what are we going to do with our lives? And I said, like, I'm going to be a rock star. And he said, like, I'm going to be a scuba diver instructor and I'm going to move to Australia. And here we are.
Yes. And
So,
I
yeah.
promise you, Australia is not as scary as it kind of sounds. I mean, yes, there's sharks, there's crocodiles, there's spiders, there's snakes, all of that palaver. But you know what? You can walk down the street and pretty much
Yeah.
survive. It's not that hard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, of course. But
Hey, your music is incredible. Let's go back to the early days though, when you were growing up. What was the music that you were listening to that inspired you, to get into this crazy industry that we call entertainment?
well, I grew up with mostly classical music. I play cello since I'm 5 years old, and then I kind of discovered the vinyl collection of my parents. My parents were both born in the early 40s, so they're pretty old. So they were young in the 60s. So they had this amazing, which I own now, this amazing vinyl single collection with the Beatles and the Stones and all this, 60s beat music. And
Wow.
much stuff from England, and I listened to that, and this was the only music I really know. And then some 70s stuff, Amazon Lake and Palmer, Genesis, these kind of early um, rock psychedelic stuff, and they are that generation. And then actually, my first band that I really fell in love with myself was Roxette,
Mm,
which was in the early 90s and still, I
yeah.
think, still my favorite band. And it took me a while to kind of get into heavy music. So I took the mainstream turn with like Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and then like I actually discovering dark music in my late teenage years, early 20s. So it took me a while because I didn't, there were no goth people in my school or like metal people. It was all very, more like mainstream. So it took me a while to actually find this kind of world. I started to wear nail polish in school with 14, 15, but I did it and eyeliner, but I did it because of Pear from Roxette, because he did that. And I was
Yes.
fascinated by that. And I didn't know that there is another world out there. And then I discovered all this dark music and got fascinated by it. And with my classical upbringing and all of that mixed together, I think it's kind of sweet mixture.
Yeah, and look at you now. Um,
Yeah.
I am massive, huge fan of Roxette. I've seen them a couple of times in my years. Back once in the 90s when they first emerged, and then
Yeah.
again only in the late 2010s, I think it was. And it was only about a year, maybe it was even later than that, but it was about a year before Marie actually passed away.
Same here. I saw
One
one
of
of
the
the
most
last
famous
shows. Yeah.
shows. Oh, incredible. So do you find, I mean, obviously some of those songs and they brought out song hit after hit after hit. What's one of your favorite tracks from Roxette?
I think, it's mostly the ballads that really, really touch me. I think something like Queen of Rain, it's something that really, really touches me. But of course, like I mean, Joyride was my first record, so I can listen to that like all over and over and over again. And actually, a couple of years back, we also did a cover of The Look together with a German singer my age. She was a pop star in the 90s as a teenager. At the same time, Roxette emerged. She did this happy hardcore techno kind of thing, this 90s stuff. And she
Yeah.
was like a pop star here in Germany, and Roxette also was her first favorite band. So we teamed up and made the song
Wow.
together as some kind of homage to Roxette. And there's many, many. And I'm really looking forward, going to see them at the end of the year in Germany. And I think the solution they did with Lena on vocals now, having someone who is popular in Sweden and with Swedish music for decades, and not just bringing some young talented, good-looking girl on stage to sing their songs. So actually, someone who can make this legacy live on and
Yeah.
honoring that. I think they found a very good way to keep those songs alive.
Oh, incredible. One of my favorite albums of theirs lyrically, written words was Don't Bore Us, Get to the Chorus. I
Yeah, yeah,
love
yeah, yeah.
incredible.
I love that.
Um,
And it's actually, it really helped me with songwriting, like it's when I'm like, okay, there's a new
Same.
part, but maybe you don't need that. Just play the fucking chorus again.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, so when you get to Australia, what can us fans over here expect from the show? What can we expect from the
I
tour?
don't know yet at all because don't know how pre-sales will work. It's pretty small places. It's pretty rock and roll, pretty basic. Maybe like we played in Germany 15 years ago. Because here, meanwhile, we play in front of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people. It's going to be a different game in Australia. So I really don't know what kind of show we will bring to the road, but it really doesn't matter. If we are there and we play our songs, the rest will come naturally. So I think set list wise, we have to give them our biggest hit, so to say, because it wouldn't feel right to go to a country for the first time and then do some like very special set list or whatever. I think people just need to hear like the core of our artistic self.
I like it. Hey, one last question for you though, Chris. Is
Yeah.
what would be one of the biggest lessons that you've learnt while working in the entertainment industry?
I think empathy, it's maybe one of the biggest lessons anyway for humankind. And I think it's something which is highly lacking nowadays, especially through social media, when people can be like, couch warriors being anonymously shooting at people. And, a smile goes a long way. You always meet someone twice and always treat people like you want to be treated by them. And if you're the bigger band, never, look down on the others because you're always also the smaller band. Because this is something, this kind of attitude which some bands really have. And it's mostly not the real big ones. It's like the ones on the medium level, which really feel like we've come that far and we can treat everybody else like shit. And we've been on tour with the big ones, you know, let's say Maiden. And we met other ones like Alice Cooper or whatever, or like Deep Purple, been to my studio. You know, like all those big artists which I met, they are either like total assholes or like very, 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 very nice people. The ones that I just mentioned are very, very nice and respectful and humble. And they never forget where they came from. And you know, like when you're an artist and you look around, I always find so many people as examples that show me how I do not want to be. And so I always try to, you play a concert somewhere and you leave your backstage room clean. You say thank you and maybe say goodbye to the people you worked with for that night, the house crew, whatever. You know, respect, empathy, teamwork, and it's so easy. You know, a smile is so easy. If even if you feel tired and you feel like shit and you're sick, you have the 2 seconds. It can make someone else very happy, and next time you come back, they will remember that. And yeah, I think this is something which is very easy to do actually, and many people don't.
I agree, 100%, hand on heart. I did say that was the last question, but I've got one more for you
Yeah.
because you just said a few names then. If you had the opportunity to have a collaboration with anybody, anytime, who would be the ultimate collaboration you would love to do some music with?
Michael Jackson, but I think that's not gonna happen. So I have to. Sorry, Stephanie, you're second, but I say Lady Gaga.
Yes, awesome. Can we try and make that happen? I want to see it happen.
Hey man, I'm such a big Gaga fan since the first record, and it's like she's a major inspiration, and I listen to it every day. So I need to make that happen somehow, sometime. And if it's just her writing a song for me, and also Pear from Roxette, you know, he's such a great songwriter. I would love to write a song with him. So there's still a couple of people on the bucket list.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, let's make it happen. Okay, bucket lists
let's make
happen
it
for a
happen.
reason. I like it. Chris Harms from Lord of the Lost, everybody, make sure you get your tickets for the tour because it's going to be incredible. Chris, when you get to Adelaide, can we please catch up because you're
Yeah,
a
sure.
total, your vibe is everything. And I wish you all the best with the most
Same.
amazing success for this new album. Like I said, everyone, Opus Noir Volume 1, some incredible tracks on there. Chris, what an absolute pleasure. Have the most amazing afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you when you hit Adelaide.
Likewise.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you, my
let's
friends.
meet and have a
Bye.
great time. Have a great time in Bali. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome.